Welcome back to the Magnetic Marketing Podcast. Today we're going to be continuing with Mike Koenigs, how to find and engage your customers using video online. Now, we talked about one idea for you to be able to start creating your videos in the last presentation, and also stress the importance of, if you're not online yet, you absolutely need to be online now. There needs to be a face for your brand that is digital in order for you to be able to compete just in general with authority today. Now, we're also going to be talking about different things that you can do for your videos, from keywords to creating proof to showing the value that you create every single day, but simply on video. This episode is going to be the perfect capstone for everything you learned in part one. So if you missed it, go and jump into part one, and let's jump into part two with Mike Koenigs, how to find and engage your customers using video online.
I don't think there's anybody that has had a bigger impact in the field of direct response than Dan Kennedy.
The legend of Dan Kennedy should be ignored at your own peril.
They're not really lessons, they're kind of laws that you live by.
Dan opened my eyes to what small business marketing looks like.
Dan teaches strategic direct response that is timeless.
His ripple effect touches people who don't even know his name.
The world as we know it was changed because Dan Kennedy became obsessed with marketing.
Welcome to the Magnetic Marketing Podcast with your host, Dan Kennedy.
So how does this work? Well, buy their stuff, prove it works, become their greatest success story, and then sell it, and they'll want you to associate with their brand. That's basically what happened with me and Tony. You know, the backstory was my old business, Digital Cafe, for the first 7 out of the 9 years I had it, we got a lot of attention. We did some really cool stuff. We were one of the first interactive marketing agencies. But we were broke. We were always fighting that 30-day monster and having to hire creative staff, and we didn't know how to run a business. So there was a period of time when I was $250,000 in the hole. I was buying food on my gas credit cards. I was 30 pounds overweight, i.e. fat. And it's just a sad guy. And I went through a divorce on top of it. So I saw a friend of mine who went through a radical transformation. I'm like, what happened? He goes, well, I bought Tony's stuff, and here's, look at me now. He had written a book, started a speaking career. And when I saw him, he had just bought a brand new Lexus for cash. And I'm like, whatever you got, I want. So he said, well, I did this Tony Robbins business. So the next time I saw Tony on an infomercial, got myself a brand new credit card. I was living on plastic. But ordered his box of stuff, had it rushed. 2 days later, I get it. Listen to 15 minutes, I'm sold. Had a little coupon inside, upsell, $500 off on a $7,000 course. 2 weeks later, I'm in Maui and Hawaii, everyone's jumping up and down. Don't know if you've been to a Tony Robbins event. I'm like, I'm not going to jump up and down. After 3 days, I'm like, okay, I'll jump up and down. But while I was there, I wrote out a 1-page plan for my life. And 9 months later, my business was being acquired by $1 billion company. So, fast forward 13 years later, through a friend of a friend, said, Tony's struggling right now online. He needs some help with video. Would you meet with him? Absolutely not. Okay? And the reason it worked is I walked in, instead of saying, hey, Tony, what can you do for me? I said, Tony, whatever you need. So, he asked me some questions. I said, here's what I do. And he goes, do you know anyone who can help me? I go, well, I'll help you. And I'll introduce you to the 5 smartest internet marketers alive. So he says, when can you make that happen? I said, probably tomorrow or the next day. So 2 days later, I had Frank Kern, Mike Filsame, Jeff Walker. I don't know if you know these names, but they're the big shots sitting around with Tony. And these guys are like, good. Well, not Frank, of course. He's way, way too cool for that. But, it was like, but then we did a launch with Tony. Made him, a good chunk of money, rhymes with illions. Okay, but it was very successful. And then Tony was like, what can I do for you? I'm like, I'm not sure yet. He goes, we just came because you've done so much for us. All of us had been through his stuff and benefited from it somehow. So, the next time we did another little project, and he said, no, what can I do for you? And I said, well, as a matter of fact, here's a mind map. I've got 8 product ideas. I'll do all the work and you can keep all the money. It's like, sounds pretty good to me. And that's when we created a product together called the New Money Masters, which has since done pretty well. It gave us all, a certain amount of legitimacy in the space. But again, it came from standing in service. So what's this have to do with video? What's it have to do with all that? I promise I'm getting to it. It will all make sense in a moment. Okay? So the next big thing, this is just a quick blurb about mobile, which I believe is the next big thing, and that is right now there's 100 million iPhones out there. And how many of you have smartphones right now? Raise your hands. Okay? Quite a few of you. All right? Usually, not long ago it was about a third of the audience, less than a year ago. Now it's usually 70 to 80%. Everyone's using smartphones. So for the iPhone alone, 3 billion mobile phone apps have been downloaded. Okay? There's 400,000 different ones out there. And there's 150 million people who have their credit cards set up in iTunes to buy stuff. They're consuming applications, music, movies with a click. Okay? We're programmed to consume stuff. This is the future. So this is where we find information, we do our product research, we find out where to go, what to buy. So being on mobile, if you get your stuff online, it can be consumed via mobile as well. Very, very important. And best of all, even though Apple only has about 2% of the handsets, they've got 30% of the profits right now. And even if you say, I don't like Apple, I don't like them apples, well, tell you what, I like hooking my wagon up to the winner and riding it into the finish line. Tied that right into a Dan Kennedy thing there. He likes the ponies. So, that brings us to the Make It Go button. You everywhere now. What if you could press the Make It Go button, deliver your content to desktop, laptop, mobiles, even TV? Every single one of you is a broadcaster or an entertainer or an advertiser, equipped with a $200 camera. You get in the power, press a button, communicate with the entire connected planet. Now you just need to know how to do it and what works. So I'm going to give you a couple successes. So here's an example. I just, let's see here. Right now, this is New Haven, Connecticut rehab property. Okay, you're like, well, what? So again, if you name your videos things that people are looking for, especially in the local markets, you can, as we say, crush it. Those are 4 out of the top 10 results are showing up. Okay? And the 10th as well. Each one of those is actually a link to a unique video. All right, so I'm going to show you another example. Where do I find property to flip? 19 million competing pages. A video made that just says, here's where to go to find out property to flip, and I'm going to give you the content formula in a moment to help achieve this. Okay, here's another one, another real estate. Real estate investment property in New Haven. Okay, there's almost 800,000 competing pages, the top 3. So I'm going to give you, again, some more specific examples here. One of the questions I get all the time is, will this work in other countries? What if I don't like the way I sound or look on camera? So this is a gentleman, his name is Karsten Jax, and what he does is he is in the saint statue business. So just pretend for a moment that this is a saint statue. I won't press the button, okay? So what he'll do is take his little camera, imagine putting it on a little turntable like this, and he'll actually shoot it on a Lazy Susan, just rotating that thing. I don't know, can we bring up the little camera here? Look at that. So anyway, it's just shooting these goofy little videos, and he names them what they are. So let's go back to the little slide here. I've got an example for you. So when you typed in carved wood statues, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the top 10. Well, this is an interesting thing to know. Historically and statistically, an organic listing is 3 times more likely to be clicked on than a paid advertisement. We have more trust because we know it's an ad, right? So we look there. And if the result is a video, you're going to grab someone's attention longer, okay? Especially if it's what you want. If you're typing in wood, St. Mark statue, for example, or whatever the statue of the week is, but there you go. It's like he dominates for that keyword phrase. And you can see there's a whole bunch of sponsored links, which means other people are paying for it. So I'll give you another one. Granite countertops in Potomac, Maryland. So if you advertise with pay-per-click, and again, I'm not bad-mouthing pay-per-click. I love it. It has its place. I'm not good at it. Okay? When you type in granite countertops, Potomac, Maryland, he basically dominates the Google top 10. If you see the last listing, there's a little icon, a graphic, which again gives you an even higher probability of being clicked on. Why? What happened is when you press the Make It Go button and you distribute your content, it goes all over the place very, very rapidly. That's the whole idea. Google picks it up, shows it off. So here's another one. Well, that's actually Bob Costello. He was so impressive. When I saw the results he was getting, I called him up and said, hey, what are you doing? Because he's doing stuff I hadn't figured out, and he told me. And I'm like, do you mind becoming a coach for us? And he's like, yeah, sure, love to. So he's one of our coaches now. Really good guy. But that's what he was doing. He was basically doing local business video marketing. Here's another guy. He saw one of these examples. He came to one of our live events and did the exact same thing, except he focuses on dentists. His whole package is he goes and meets dentists, he makes a couple videos, and they name the videos like Teeth Whitening San Diego, Teeth Whitening blah, blah, blah. People watch the videos. They like, hey, I like this dentist. He sounds like a nice guy. They check out his webpage, buy his stuff. Make sense? So he gets $9,000 up front to do a little bit of video, and then he gets $1,500 a month where he comes in once a month and records some short videos about the newest products that they have. Okay? So for your business, whatever it is, this is how it works. I've got a client I had just met about 5 weeks ago. His name is Bruce Wallstrom. He's a nice Minnesota boy. He lives on a lake in Plymouth, Minnesota. And he has been selling lake supplies. He had a problem, which is he had lots of weeds in his lake. And he figured out how to solve the problem. So he started making little videos about how he solved the problem, and again, naming them the same things that people are searching for online. How do I get rid of this kind of weed in the lake? You meet nice Bruce Wallstrom walking on his dock. His little daughter, who's 6 years old, is holding the camera. So it's, hey, daddy, look at that, But, I mean, it's good enough. It's better now than what he used to make. Put him online. He did $1 million in sales last year. His only marketing tool was video marketing. Okay? Very impressive. So, I'm going to give you, this is a really, really great example. Gentleman, we call him Fireman Mike Lemony. He's a firefighter in Albuquerque, New Mexico. I don't know if you know this, but firefighters and EMTs make less than $5,000 a month salary. It's like, all right, putting your neck on the line. But this is how he made $5,000 in 4 hours. Should I skip this one or you want this one? It's good? Okay, this is so genius. And he basically modeled something I did as an example. I actually spoke at a Russell Brunson event. I know you'll see Russell a little bit later. And I wanted to do a test. And the test was, I wanted to see how quickly I could get a Google Top 10 by putting a video out there. And again, all I made is a slideshow right out of PowerPoint. It was just a couple of graphics. So I woke up in the middle of the night. It was 4:30 in the morning, and I was on Sunday morning at 8:30 at Russell's event, which historically, bad time to be on stage, because that's when everyone was drinking the night before. I know none of you guys would do that. But at other people's events, they do those kinds of things. So I'm like, ugh. So anyway, I made a little video, submitted it, and made a lead capture page, which I'll show you in a moment. And the next morning, the thing was a top 10, and we had generated 2 leads, and the search term was Best San Diego Plumber. Well, Mike Lemony heard about this, he modeled it, and this is how he made his money. So by the way, that's him and his family. He has a brand new baby boy right now, also named Michael. And so here's what he had. Albuquerque house painters. He had actually been in a situation where he had someone paint his house. He got ripped off. He thought, well, I'm going to help other people and prevent them from getting ripped off. So what he did is he made a lead capture page, and he made a little buyer's guide using some information he found online about how to not get ripped off from house painters. Just went to Wikipedia and a couple other places. Put it in a little PDF document. There's a lead capture page. Which, by the way, took 5 minutes. He didn't know anything about HTML. I'll tell you about that in a moment. Made a little tiny short video with pictures in it. Okay? No software, nothing complicated. Go here to get a free buyer's guide so you don't get ripped off from Albuquerque house painters, local. Got a Google Top 10 in 2 hours. And then what he did is he contacted 11 local Albuquerque house painters. He just did a search and found the ones who were paying to be listed with Google AdWords. And he wrote them and said, hey, I see you're paying for traffic. I've got a Google Top 10 and you don't. Here's my lead capture page, and I'm going to work with one local painter. Maybe it'll be you. So the first person to contact me, I'll do business with you. So he sent out the email. So mind you, he started at 10 o'clock at night. This is when he sent his email to 11 people at 2:30. And he also made a little short video, which, by the way, this is what was really funny. He had nothing more than a little camera, and he was at the fire station when he recorded it. Okay? He had it on a doorknob hung on it like this, and he said, hi, I'm Mike Lemoyne. I'm just a local guy. I'm doing marketing, and I noticed you don't have a Google Top 10. That was basically it. I do, and I'm going to work with one local painter. And he's just this nice guy with a screenshot of proof. So the next morning, he had 4 calls by 8 a.m., and the first guy he met with gave him a check for $5,000. Actually, he gave him half, so half of it, $2,800 up front. And he pays him, at this point, $67 a month to lease that page. Okay? Pretty darn good little business. So, this works in any business, anywhere in the world. Anywhere. So we've got people who are doing this for other people and doing it for themselves. And he basically just started and he got it done in 4 hours. Not too bad starting a business that you make 10 to 20 grand a month at in 4 hours, huh? All right. Now here's what also happened. A referral, someone who heard about what he had done, this guy makes grills. So he said, hey, do you think you can do it for me? Yep. What should we do? Well, why don't we make a little cooking show? So once a month he goes over and meets with them, and they do 4, 5, 7-minute shows and just shows this guy using the grill and cooking on it. And this is how he's getting so much business done, so much traffic, they've actually got sponsors for the show. So he's getting local meat companies and stuff like that who are actually giving him money. Okay, so it's getting some heads spinning here. Lots of opportunities out there. 16.8 million small businesses don't have a web presence right now. Okay? And if you look at the amount of money, I've got all the statistics. I can't give it to you exactly, but basically the stats are saying that of all the money that's being spent right now on advertising, local businesses want to spend it online, and they don't have anyone to spend it with because they don't know who to trust and who can give them proof like this. Okay? So anyway, the grill guy gives them $400 every 2 weeks and gives them a $400 a month product. Now, Mike doesn't charge enough because he really should have gotten a lot more up front, but he was just starting out. All right, this is another one. I use the exact same term. You can check this yourself. Write down La Jolla House Painter. I just grabbed the screenshot before I came up here. A video, a lead capture page, a buyer's guide. And we got 9 out of 10 of the Google Top 10. Okay, how would you like that for your business? Okay, so here's how it works. Oh yeah, my 10-year, $10 million mistake. I could skip this one, or should I do it? Okay, all right, so here's what it is. Literally, this is one of these things that's staring at you in the face, and you know how it is when you make this is more like a 20-year mistake, all right? It's not a 10-year mistake. But I've had a great opportunity of working with a lot of brands and being broke at the same time. You know, has anyone ever done that? It's like, well, what the hell am I doing wrong? I'm delivering such great value. I try so hard. Try. Well, here's what happened. It's about storytelling. The greatest salespeople are great storytellers. So this is one of my favorites. It's Newbie Mike. And here's the backstory. Met him through his sister. And basically, she calls me up and says, my brother Mike has never found anything he's passionate about. He's smart, but he's 27, he's fat, he's broke, he's working in food service, and he's been laid off from the mortgage business 4 years. Not that the fat thing had anything to do, but he had some low self-esteem issues going on, all right? So 0 marketing experience, never made a blog, never made $1 online, never been on camera, never made a video. You get the picture, right? Complete starting from scratch. Nice kid. So she said, is there anything that you can do for him? And I said, well, here's a copy of a webinar I did, and here's some more videos. Send it to him, have him watch it, and write back to me if he has some ideas. I'm all ears. So he writes back, and he said, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. Is there any way that I can do something for you?" I said, "Well, I'm right now in the process. I want to open up a support and a help desk in Malaysia because we need to support our overseas clients. And we had identified a great office and some partners over there that we knew we could work with." So I said, "I need to create some sort of training material to get people up to speed on my system and know how to use it as rapidly as possible so I don't fly there and go back all the time." If you think about it, the scourge of every small business owner is we don't have enough time and no one knows what we know if we're the entrepreneur. It's the classic E-myth. So how do we replicate ourselves? And if we lose an employee, have them get up to speed as rapidly as possible so we don't have to retrain them again, right? Happens all the time. So I'm like, how do I self-replicate? So I thought, well, here's the deal. Mike, if I have you come out to San Diego and train you and teach you everything I know for 2 days, would you be interested in that? And he goes like, yeah, okay. And I said, well, here's the deal. You find a way to get here. You lived in Flagstaff, Arizona. You get here. I'll put you up for 2 days. I'll teach you everything I know. We'll work in the studio, make some videos. And you have to agree to 3 things. He goes, what's that? Well, number 1, that I get to record it and use it however I want. Okay, fine with that. You got to get here yourself, but I'll put you up when you get here, no problem. And the third one is you just got to play all out. You can't mess around. He goes, I'm all in. So that was on a Wednesday. So I talked to him on Thursday. He quit his job on Friday. His sister loaned me enough money to rent a car to drive from Flagstaff to San Diego. He showed up at my doorstep Tuesday morning at 8:20 a.m. He had driven all night long, and he's hopped up on 5 energy drinks. Only to be 27 again. So I'm like, you sure you're all right? And he's like, yeah, I'm fine. So I'm like, all right, let's go out to breakfast. I took him out to one of my favorite little breakfast places. It's called the Coffee Cup in La Jolla. If you ever get a chance to go there, it's really fun. And we sat down and brainstormed. I came up with a page of stuff I wanted to teach him. Everything I had ever heard anyone ever had a problem with, any objection to overcome, every major support issue. It's like, what do I need to do first? So we came back, and I made a little video. I sat him down at my little digital cafe studio, turned on the camera, and I decided I'm going to send out a video to my audience, my list. And I said, hi, everyone. My name is Mike Koenigs. This is newbie Mike. And I'm going to teach him everything I know for the next 2 days about social media and video marketing. I'd like you to submit a question that you want me to ask him. And as soon as we make the videos, we're going to give them all to you. Well, that thing went out. I was at about 11:45, which he edited. I taught him how to edit in 5 or 10 minutes. He put his first video up. He made a lead capture page in 10 minutes. First time, okay? And we sent out the email. And in 3 hours, I had over 500 questions, okay? And 15 to 20% of them were all people saying, can I be newbie Mike too? All right? And that's when I went, oh, opportunity. So here's what happened. 48 hours from start to finish, he got on camera, edited video. He got his first Google Top 10 because what did we do? We named the videos the same questions that people were asking because that's what they were typing in Google. All right? I taught him the basics of client consulting, how to interact with the client, and ask them the questions that you need to know in order to help them get results. Because most people, the reason why they don't know how to get anything done is they don't know the right questions to ask. It's the way it is, as an expert and authority. You know what you need to know, right? And he made his lead capture page. We put everything on a blog. We learned everything about social media marketing you need to know to be successful. Good enough, anyway. And I was so impressed with him, I said, here's the deal. I got him a laptop. I put everything on a hard drive. This kid doesn't have a penny to his name. And I sent him home. I said, edit all these, and then we'll talk about what's going to happen next. So he went home. 4 days later, he had every single video, 2 days worth, edited down into just a few hours, nicely put together. And I didn't have to change a thing. It was perfect. And again, 2 days before, knew nothing. So I said, how would you like to open up an office in Malaysia? Yeah. So he's a happy guy, and I got myself a great employee. And since then, I've used this same system to train every one of my employees overseas. I don't have to do it anymore. It's all done. So here's the question I have for you. If I gave you a chance to come spend 2 days with me in the studio in San Diego and teach you everything I know, would you do it? Stand up if you do it. Okay? Okay, and those of you who aren't, do you have like a son or a daughter or someone you work with or a spouse or an employee who could benefit from it? Or is everyone just grouchy? Grouchy and tired? The grouchy and tired ones are sitting. That's all right if you don't. I'm just curious, all right? So look around. This is social proof. This is what the internet's all about, is proving that what you have works. Okay? It's not a trick. It's not a trick, I promise. Why wouldn't you come? I'm just curious. Why wouldn't you want to do it? Yes, you. I'm pointing at you. Yeah, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do it? You would, yeah, but you're standing. I'm talking to you, ma'am.
Me?
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. I'm always slow to make decisions.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right. And you? You wouldn't do it?
Just bought a new house. I'm not coming.
Okay, that's all right. I know you. I know you. And you, ma'am? Why wouldn't you do it? Oh, you stood up and sat down. Oh, okay. So we got a couple more. All right. Anyone else? Okay. So the whole point is, in general, most people are like, yeah, I want this. I want to learn this. You can go ahead and sit down. I want it either for me or I want it for someone I'm working with or one of my employees. Because every business needs this desperately right now, worldwide. They know they need video marketing. They know they need social media marketing. They're like, I don't know where to start. So that's really what it proved to me. But once I started telling stories and showing proof, that's when my sales increased. That's what's missing, because most businesses, as Brian Tracy told me this once, he said, the problem with most business owners is they have a crappy product and they're trying to find a gimmick to sell it. Okay? They're missing one important thing, proof. If it worked and they showed proof and showed it working, they wouldn't have any problem selling it and they wouldn't have to rely on some kind of a gimmick. The only question then is, how do I get more eyeballs? Does that make sense? All right? So here were some of our results. You know, when you go out and search for some of our keywords, social media marketing, for example, boom, we show up on Google Top 10. And right after he sent this out, he sends me an email saying I submitted 5 of the new Me Mike videos this week. I did a search for social media video marketing, and with over 54 million competing pages, we've got spots 5 and 6, okay? So he's like, holy crap, this actually works. You weren't just saying this, all right? And we had more of the same. So right now I'm going to teach you how to become an instant expert and authority. I'm going to show you the exact formula we used very, very rapidly. I call it the 10 by 10 by 4. So if you're not familiar with this, get your pens out and write this down. Because I'm going to give you enough content that you can use this for any business, any service. Even if you aren't an expert, I'll either turn you into an expert or I'll turn you into a great reporter. And this content can instantly get you attention online. And you can execute it in less than an afternoon. So, my walk away for you is to give you a plan that you can execute and get done and see results very, very rapidly. If you just take one thing away from this today, it will be that. So here's the idea. Every one of you have the top 10 questions you get asked all the time about your products and your services. Yes? Okay? Now, if you just sat down and wrote them down, A, that's what people would find you with if they were searching for your solution online. B, most of us answer the same stupid questions over and over and over again during pre-sales, right? So we don't have time to actually do what we're great at or make new products so we make more money and escalate, all right? So if all those little videos were just all over the place, spread all over the internet, that would probably help get you traffic. It would also help answer those questions so you don't always have to be on the phone. That alone will change the way you do business. That's exactly what Bruce Wallstrom did with his doc business. Everyone wanted to call up and have a consultation with him. Well, there's only one Bruce. He was the expert. So then he just kept track of what people asked him. He made a new video. Made about 100 of them. Didn't take long. He had a little $200 camera. In this case, at first, he had his daughter holding the camera for him. Okay? But ultimately, what it does is it ends repetitive selling and training. You get targeted traffic, and you make your sales process automatic. Save a ton of time and money. Now, the second 10 are what we call the should ask questions. I was talking to Dan and Bill yesterday about this very same thing. I've talked to literally thousands of business owners. And when you've been in business for 10 or 20 or however many years you've been in business, there are nuances. There's a reason why people buy from you. Okay? It's because you clearly establish value. This is the value part. And when people hear what you know, they're like, oh, wow, this guy really knows what he's talking about. So you gain credibility and trust, and you differentiate your product and service. Because as anyone knows who's ever bought the price war, where people are like, oh, well, it's too expensive. Well, when you say, here's why we're more expensive. Here's the value you get. Here are the results you can expect by using my product, service, or me. That's what differentiates you. If price is the only thing that's preventing people from buying, you haven't differentiated yourself. You haven't proven value. But when you do that, they want you. They want your product, and they want a relationship with you as well. And ultimately, by just answering questions, you decrease the need to actually sell. Does that make sense? Okay? This is so stinking simple. But I created this because I had a lot of people saying, I don't know what kind of videos to make. Well, here's what's great. Once you make that video, you've got enough content. If it's transcribed, you've got a blog post, you've got an article, you've got enough stuff to put in a buyer's guide. Okay? Really fast, really easy. And we've got a tool that actually lets you click a button and get all the questions that people are asking about your product or your service. Just pretty kick butt. All right. So here's the 4. At the end of every video, you need to say, if you like this video, I've got 19 more or 5 more, however many you make. Where that came from, just go to mywebsite.com, and that's where you're going to get it. And then on what we call a lead capture page, everyone who's here has obviously been to a lead capture page. Hi, my name is Mike Koenigs. And I've figured out the secret to how to get traffic and make money using video marketing and social media marketing. I'd love to give you 20 free videos that'll teach you everything you need to know. At least get you a good start. And I'm going to give you this free little guide that'll guide you through the process. They happen to be transcripts of each one of the videos. Enter your contact information. I'll see you on the other side. Okay? The third video is your thank you page video, which I combine with what I call my buy my stuff video. Thank you for entering your contact information. Just sent you a link to the free videos. And I'd like you to try out my product or call me for a free consultation. Fill out this form and tell me more about you. Or why don't you try my product at my risk, cover shipping and handling. I'll send it to you. If you don't like it, send it back. No problem. If you do like it, I'll bill you automatically in 30 days. Got it? Now, it turns out that strategy alone that I just gave you converts 30% of the time if your offer is no risk and reasonably valuable. Okay? On average, my lead pages convert 25 to 40% of the time. Okay, they're really simple. Yes, because I've figured out how to create great offers. Your knowledge has massive value when it's positioned properly. And it's not hard to do. It's cookie cutter, copy and paste.
Thank you for listening to the Magnetic Marketing Podcast with Dan Kennedy. If you love hearing in on these lost Dan Kennedy talks and speeches and calls, then please let someone else know about this podcast. That's how you can help it to grow. And the more it grows, the more free Dan Kennedy we can bring to you. Also, Dan would love to give you the most incredible free gift ever, designed to help you make maximum money in minimum time. Now, this free gift comes with almost $20,000 in pure money-making information for free just for saying maybe. You can get this gift from Dan right now at nobsletter.com. Not only will you get the $20,000 gift, you're also going to get a subscription to 2 marketing newsletters that will be hand-delivered by the mailman to your mailbox each and every month. One from Dan Kennedy and one from me, Russell Brunson. To get this gift and your subscription, go to nobsletter.com right now.